Welcome to The Watching Dead, the officially unofficial podcast for The Walking Dead on AMC. I'm Jim.
And I'm Aaron.
And today we're talking about Season 5, Episode 2, titled Strangers.
Stranger danger.
Ooh, strangers in a strange land.
Stranger
what did
danger.
you think overall about this episode of The Walking Dead?
Well, it's not last week.
Could it be, though? It couldn't be, really.
Well, it could be. I mean,
you can't.
Look, I read an article saying that like AMC's charging half of what they like Super Bowl commercial rates for primetime slots on this.
Okay.
And there's like 18 million people watching it, and they've got Hyundai giving them money, and Microsoft. And this thing's a money machine. They could easily make an episode of it that extravaganza.
From a budget perspective, but from a story perspective, where did you want them to go? Like run into another group and get captured and bust out again? Like
I don't know.
They had already busted out.
I want an 8-part epic of them fighting a 15,000 strong zombie horde just in the middle of it, like something like 300 with zombies.
Okay. And Michonne reaches for her sword and it's not there, and
yeah,
they all die.
And having Rick do all the classic King Leonidas. This is Georgia.
Kicks him into a pile of peaches. Okay. Do we have anything we want to talk about before we get into the recap? Do you want to tell us who made this episode?
Let's talk about... Yes, I do.
Okay.
But before we do that, let's talk about the Walker Stalker Con.
Yeah. That was fun.
First of all, thanks to everybody who came out and saw us at the panel, and also the follow-on Drinking and Debauchery, where I got unprofessionally sloshed, but I think I held it together. I don't think there was any bald move scandals.
You were only partially nude, so...
Yeah. So there was that. But it was a lot of fun. Did we glean anything... Did you glean anything from the different panels and from the information that we talked about? For the information was presented, the behind-the-scenes stuff.
I don't know what you mean by glean anything, but...
The definition of gleaning?
Yeah, but in reference to what? Like...
Okay, so let me tell you what I saw, and then maybe you can follow suit. Really the only one... Because characteristically, these are puff pieces.
Yes.
They're
Hugfest.
First of all, this is bullshit. All you people stand up to ask some bullshit question and then ask for a hug. What are they going to do? Say no and look like assholes? I would. If this was my convention, I'd have pillboxes with machine guns ready. But
walkers on chains in front of the stage.
So I'm really glad that you're getting your moment to get hugged by a celebrity while we spend 45 seconds awkwardly watching it all happen for the 50th time. But fuck y'all. Stop doing that. That's bullshit. They need to get some kind of moderated question, because this is really destroying that aspect of the con. But traditionally, it's always been puff pieces anyway, kind of softball lob questions. You get very little true insight. But I thought that the Grove panel was a little bit aberration.
I like the Grove panel, yeah.
So the Grove panel was...
There were a couple hugs, but...
Sure. The Grove panel was Chad Coleman. It was Melissa... McBride. It was Brighton Charbino.
Yeah.
Everybody was involved in the Grove episode. And there's a couple things I gleaned. Number one, the adult actors of this show, at least the Chad Colemans and Melissa McBrides, spend a lot of time thinking about their character and their motivations and why they do the things they do. Possibly more time than the writers themselves.
Sure.
The other thing that's frustrating, because I walked away from that panel kind of understanding why Tyrese would be the kind of man that would hesitate to kill zombies and hesitate to kill human beings even this late into it. You know? Yeah. That's a testament to how fucking charming and charismatic Chad Coleman is. My dad, give it up for him. Second...
But you shouldn't have to go to a convention and hear a specific panel in order to understand that.
No, that's
right?
the thing. It's shocking how little of that stuff makes it onto the screen.
Yeah,
and I'm hoping that going forward, that more of that can get on there. The second, like, I really felt bad for a lot of things I said about the child actors because, first of all, you know, Brighton seems like a very pleasant young woman. And she acquitted herself very well in the panel. She addressed the fact that so many fans hated her and, you know,
seemed to be kind of okay with it, you know? Like it rolled off her back pretty
pretty well adjusted to that whole concept.
And I came out of there having a lot more respect for Brighton because of some of the answers she gave. She just seemed to understand more than I gave her credit for.
I also came away with my opinion that she was kind of thrown to the wolves by the writing and writers and directors because she was turning to people for help on how the nuances of portraying some of these things that as a, you know, 10 or 11-year-old, however old she was, would have no real grasp. And I think, you know, she talked about talking to her mom. She talked about leaning on Melissa. Other times they talked about different people on The Walking Dead, but she never referenced any of the directors or writers. And I feel like, you know, that's the thing, that there just wasn't a lot of attention given to that area. And
yeah, I mean, I don't think the writers are going to be out on set.
I don't know that
coaching the actors through what they're doing. It's the director's job.
It's a director's job.
Sure.
And you had a lot of, you know, as I went into a lot of depth, that's kind of why I started paying attention to writing and directing on these shows, because you see a director that might is his first or second gig, and he might just be thrilled.
Yeah.
He's working on something this big, this high profile, and himself not have the expertise to give this young talent what they need to do. And you've seen how some, you know, hands-off directors like George Lucas specifically, has, you know, just really failed talented actors like Natalie Portman and Ewan McGregor, etc. You know, you imagine, and then Jake Lloyd, how many people hated his performance. And it's like, you know, but I guess I really came with that confirmed that with her answers and Melissa and Chad talking about the experience, it did feel like some of that stuff just wasn't working.
Yeah, and it felt like she had a very good grasp on her character at the time. You know, a very damaged girl who's trying to deal with a very fucked up situation. And there was one comment like, did Lizzie know like that she was going to die when Carol told her to look at the flowers? And Brighton was like, no, she didn't. She was just disappointed in herself for disappointing Carol, who she looks up to as a mother. And I liked her answers a lot to some of these questions. I got to say, Melissa McBride not willing to talk much during that panel.
Well,
I just don't feel like she has that kind of personality, right?
Well, and you know, the other thing is I sometimes wonder what these stars make of this. That they signed, especially the frontline people, they signed up with Frank Darabont, that has a history of making kind of supernatural or paranormal, but realistic-based, quiet character study developments. They sign on, and they've worked with him before, and now it's just this massive action, like Star Trek, The Next Generation fan communities. They're rabid, and they're asking a lot of, you know, personal questions, and are wanting hugs. And if you're the type of person that's kind of maybe more introverted and quiet, and which she strikes me as, I can't even imagine what that would be like.
Yeah, she did drop some information about Carol's fate, I guess. Not Carol's potential future fate, but, you know, some of the stuff that was going to happen to Carol. Like, she was supposed to be killed off sometime in season 3. And there was a phone call that she got to make and tell the higher ups like why, like who Carol is and why Carol shouldn't be killed off yet. And this was during the era of Mazzara,
the Mazzara era,
where she actually, you know, defended her.
Can we call
character.
Can we officially call it the BS era before Scott?
I'll stick with the era of
It's
Mazzara.
AD. It's after Darabont. It's BS before Scott.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, but I thought that was cool that they were willing to, you know, hear out a potential storyline for this character and say, yeah, there's more left for this character. And I think if they had killed her in season 3, season 4 Carol was stronger than any other Carol, any other version of Carol, and that's where she needed to get before I think they let her go.
Yeah. The other thing I just want to mention is the VIP party, which is something they do at least all the Atlanta ones. I'm not sure about the others, but what's really cool about the Atlanta one is all the stars are there, and they all kind of, I mean, most of them show up. I mean, I got to meet Josh McDermott, who plays Eugene, who was cool. He was rocking the mullet. He actually, when he walked in the room, he like fanned the mullet out like a cobra. A cobra preparing to strike.
It was impressive.
And drawn huge crowds. Gareth, who's played by Andrew West. The other thing that impressed me about all these guys is how relatively big they were.
Some of them were relatively small.
Who?
Lawrence Gilliard Jr.
Yeah, Lawrence Gilliard
Tiny guy.
is an average sized to smaller guy. But, you know, Gareth, I would assume he was like, you know, just a little bitty thing.
Yeah.
He's a solid 6 foot at least. The guy who plays Abraham, Michael Cudlitz, another solid 6 foot beefy dude. You know, super friendly guy. So if that's something that you got that you would enjoy doing, I encourage you to check out Walker Stalker when it comes around the next year.
Sure, a lot of cool stuff to see there.
Let's talk about the episode. Strangers is directed by David Boyd, who's mostly known as a director of photography for a lot of popular series. Maybe you've heard of Firefly. Maybe you've heard of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Maybe you've heard of Friday Night Lights. He's also serves as director for a couple of Friday Night Lights, and he did a couple of the better Walking Deads last year.
Okay.
Also directed The Revolution, Once Upon a Time. He's got a decent amount of television
that I've
credits.
heard of. That I've heard of.
And it's written by some guy, Robert Kierkemann.
Yeah.
Who, I don't know if he's got a lot of zombie experience or not.
Robert Kirkman written by that guy. Yeah, it wasn't a bad episode, honestly. I mean, there were a couple of fishy parts,
which we'll talk about.
But you know, in my opinion, they couldn't do another Gonzo episode like they did last time. So I was expecting something quieter.
No, honestly, the worst part of the episode I can only talk about in the spoiler section. So
okay. Well, why don't we get into the recap?
Let's do it.
Okay, we start off with smoke in the trees, some slow-mo walking. It's weird how they split up the slow-mo walking to me.
Right?
They're like, let's give them a hint. Let's give them a taste of the slow-mo walk.
Just a taste.
And then we'll give them some more, but we'll charge for it. They're taking a hiking break, a break from hiking, and Tara gives this weird look at Maggie while she's kissing Glenn. And then Rick comes up and talks to her kind of about her place in the group, and then pounds it out.
The return of the fist bump.
Oh my God. I thought they were going to let it die. I really did.
Why? Yeah.
Why would I think that?
No, why would they bring it back, man?
It's a thing for them. I'm sure there are just as many people as hate the fist bump who like it.
They do not listen to this podcast.
You're right.
Although I am virtually guarantee I will get 30-some emails saying, I love the fist bump. The fist bump is life. The fist bump is salvation. And if so, then be healed. Because I just literally groaned. And I did like how they played Rick. How Andrew Lincoln played Rick, where he's just like in stunned disbelief. And then kind of like, for real? And then kind of like, why the fuck not?
Yeah, it's good. I like everything about Andrew Lincoln's performance in this episode.
I wish, and here's a funny YouTube video that we'll never do. We spliced together him stonewalling Father Gabriel with the fist bump reaction. And we just keep going back to her like hanging and him like close up of him just like stonewalling. And that would be pretty funny.
That'd be awesome. So we get some more slow-mo walking. Then Carol and Tyrese collect their water. Well, they talk about what happened with Karen and David and in the prison and on the road trip. Just kind of have a general discussion about that. And Tyrese at the end says, I just need to forget the kids.
The kids.
So I mentioned the slow-mo walking. We're not done with the slow-mo walking yet.
Oh, no.
There's slow-mo walking in between these conversations between a couple of people.
For days. Maybe even months.
Could be years.
Yeah.
We don't know. I feel like it's about 30 minutes.
Okay.
They've been on the road for 30 minutes.
Sure.
Abraham's like, are we ready to find some concrete?
Mm-hmm. They haven't been on the road. They've been in the woods.
Yeah, fair.
30 minutes.
Do you think that this slow-mo walking is supposed to tell us anything about this group? Like, now they've survived yet another potential catastrophe that could have killed them all. Here they are slow-mo walking, and we see they're looking pretty badass, right?
Yeah, no, totally.
I mean, is this about the journey? Is this, like, this kind of intercut with the conversations that they're having about recent events supposed to be describing and visualizing their journey?
Yeah, I feel like it's supposed to, montage quality, like we talked about in the instant cast. It's supposed to suggest a passage of time.
Yeah.
I just think that I defy anyone to give me a definitive answer for how long they've been in the woods, where in the United States they actually are.
At this point, yeah.
And how long the Terminus people have been tracking them. Because
I feel like you could do it, because if you know where Terminus is, which we actually do, because it's a real place.
Downtown Georgia.
Yeah.
Downtown Atlanta, rather.
It's in Atlanta, downtown Georgia. But yeah, it's the fact that this is a montage, and montage usually means a long time to me, like more than an hour, more than 6 hours,
sure,
more like days.
Could be weeks or months.
That's the thing, like at least days. But I really don't know here.
Is there any hint about the foliage? Because I noticed in the previous episode they were still in sweaty Atlanta mode, sweaty Georgia mode,
and now
like
Rick's
they're constantly
in his bomber
covered
jacket.
in perspiration. It seemed like that the leaves were starting to turn, and that it was a little bit. Everyone's wearing long sleeves. Nobody was. There wasn't the ever present sweat on brow.
Yeah.
Again, not a great way to suggest the passage of time, and it wasn't like autumnal. I mean, there wasn't like brilliant oranges and yellows, but there were some leaves falling, and I don't know. All
right, so I feel like it's not supposed to be very long, like a day or two.
Yeah,
maybe.
But maybe they'll fill us in, like they'll refer to the harsh Georgia winter setting in, and then we'll know for sure.
Sure. So then we get more slow-mo walking, and Michonne sees a walker, and she goes up to kill it, and she reaches for her sword, and it's not there. And I think Rick takes note of that at some point. Anyway, Abraham tells Rosita that this is why they're waiting for their moment, when he sees Michonne take the gun that she now has and bash the walker's brains in. Why do you think he says that?
I don't really know, but I'll hazard a guess.
Okay.
This man sees this as a very strong group. And I'm reading between the lines, like Michonne is a very impressive person. Glenn and Maggie are impressive people. Everyone, really. Even Carl. Carol, my God. Carol's John Rambo.
Everyone except Tara.
Yeah, Tara's got the weak-ass fist bump. But, she hasn't been hanging around Rick long enough.
Yeah, sure. Same with Bob.
And he looks at this group, and he thinks to himself, this man with the beard and the curly hair is their leader. I have to pick my spot. If I want to change this group's mind, if I want to get them under my banner, I can't just like lead with the y'all got to fall behind me and we're going to march Eugene into Washington. He has to pick a spot about when's the right time to make that plea.
Yeah, he kind of tried that with Glenn the wrong way, didn't he?
Yeah.
Like saying, we're going to go to D.C.
Yeah.
And Glenn was like, nope, I'm going to find Maggie.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And I feel like that maybe is why. And they highlighted that. It's like, this is not even the leader. This is just a regular badass. And he's like, and Rick's like king of badasses. And I think probably Abraham's used to like controlling and being the leader of every group he's in, and now there's like a potential leadership struggle.
Sure.
So I think he's self-aware enough to know that he has to navigate that. That's what I'm thinking. Did you have a take?
Yeah, I feel like that's probably the correct answer there, and what they wanted us to take away from it.
Did you notice that zombie that Michonne dispatched was tied up with barbed wire?
Yeah, what's that about?
I don't know. Like somebody tried to restrain her so she couldn't turn, or
maybe.
I don't know. I mean, that implies to me that she was strung up while she was. I have no idea. Is that evidence of some weird Morgan shit? That's the other thing I was curious about.
Some weird Morgan
No,
shit.
you know how Morgan's murder town was set up?
Sure, yeah, barbed wire everywhere.
Like he had a barbed wire zombie yo-yo that she escaped from, or I don't know.
Anyway, Rick thanks Carol for saving them in a conversation, and Carol gives back his watch, but then refuses to take her own back when he tries to return the favor there. Rick still has some reservations about Karen and David, but he's not okay completely with his decision to banish her anymore. And then he asks her if they can join basically her group. I read this as Rick saying, "You are the survivor that I want all of us to be. Can we join you?"
I just read this as Rick not approving of her methods.
Sure.
But also no longer willing to condemn her and evidence of the self-sacrificing nature she made for his family. Like, the reason he dismissed her is, I cannot trust you with my family. Mm-hmm. Well, now you can, fucker, because she didn't have to, and she saved the most helpless member of her family.
Sure.
If she was just on a murderous tear. And I also think that Rick was still kind of in farmer gear, and that he was kind of blind to some of the dangers they faced there at the prison and how fragile that was. And that was, again, he's not saying, I don't condone and fully understand, but I also know that I don't know everything that you know and whether everything's going in your head, and some of that stuff is valuable too.
Sure. No, I completely get that. That's the Karen and David stuff, and his banishment decision. But at the very end, when he asks her if they can join her, that was kind of a flip of the script, right? Because they would be accepting her back into their group, but he frames it differently.
No, I think that was just a really cute way to do that.
Okay.
Not cute like, kind of that too, but I think it was a way, instead of being like, hey, I changed my mind, you can come back to my group.
Yeah, he's giving her a little more power, a little more.
He was putting himself more into the supplicant role.
Yeah. That makes
but not really. I mean, they both were in on the joke, and I thought it was a really sweet moment between those two. And
sure,
that was one that I kind of had my arms crossed, my eyebrows raised, because as you knew from last cast, I was kind of wanting to know if they're going to acknowledge that or how it's going to handle it. And I honestly thought it's the best way they could.
Yeah, it was really good.
Totally bought every bit of that interaction.
Then we go over to another conversation with Carol, this time with Daryl. And he's trying to talk to her about what happened while she was banished, what happened with Karen and David, everything that she just talked with Rick and Tyrese about. And she doesn't really want to talk about it. I think she doesn't want to talk about it because she's protecting Tyrese here. Like, Tyrese, she says exactly the same thing. Like, I just want to forget about the kids. I need to forget about the kids, is what she tells Daryl. The exact words that Tyrese used.
You're right. I don't know if she is just aping what he's saying.
Yeah.
Out of respect for Tyrese, because she's also clearly disturbed to be back in the situation, and she kind of at one point attempts to flee it.
Yeah.
Maybe this doesn't feel right to her. Maybe she doesn't feel like she can trust herself, or maybe I don't know, maybe she blames herself for how twisted up Lizzie got. I don't know.
Maybe.
This is definitely going to be interesting to see how she reintegrates and restarts, or if she even can.
Yeah. I would have loved to hear what Melissa McBride had to say about that in the panel, but
people got hugged.
It wasn't out yet.
People got lots of hugs.
That's true.
So we could have got some good information about that, but at least people got hugged.
Yep. Anyway, Daryl understands, or at least says he does, and then he hears something in the woods. Hears or feels. Later he says that he didn't so much hear them as he felt them. We didn't see or hear anything, really.
Because we're already talking about that scene, do you have a problem with Daryl unable to find any physical evidence of the hunters?
He has always been Super Tracker Daryl.
Yeah.
Like, that's been his superhero power, is to track anything. Maybe it should give us an indication about how dangerous these people are. Maybe that's what they're trying to do. If Daryl can't track them, oh my God, who can?
Yeah.
But I'm not certain exactly what that's supposed to mean.
Yeah, I just think it's, Daryl's this like ultimate tracker. He's like, what was the guy's name from Predator that was a Native American? like badass. Like his name is Johnny or something. And like Dutch was always going up to him. He's looking off in the woods, and he's like, "We're being watched," but I can't really tell, and whatever. Like that was an alien with a fucking cloaking device. So like, and he's swinging from tree to tree. He never really touches the ground. So okay, I'll give you that one.
Are you saying Gareth is not an alien who swings from tree to tree?
This guy, like Conan O'Brien said, this guy looks like the weird Apple employee at the Apple store, just traipsing around in the woods. And that's the thing. Like they make it a pain. They take pains to show us just what Gareth is. Gareth is a guy up till a year ago that was, pre-apocalyptic whatever. And then he ran a post-apocalyptic refugee center. And then he got brutalized and he took over. So I'm not saying he's not a survivor, he's not a fighter. But Daryl's been living in the woods since he's like 7 years old.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a certain amount of woodcraft you need to know to counteract that.
Yeah. I agree.
Maybe they've got a real, like, maybe Baseball Cap is like a dyed-in-the-wool tracker. He's a real bow man.
Sure.
I don't know. But it's like, it's a Worf effect. If you take your biggest badass and you have him defeated by some slack-jawed yokel, is he really that big of a badass?
Sure. Either that or the other guy's a bigger badass that we didn't know about.
Daryl killed a tank.
He did.
Single-handedly.
He did.
Just saying.
And look at the number of squirrels. He's caught all of the squirrel meat in Georgia is on the back of Daryl Dixon now.
Yes.
They're walking through the woods, this time in regular speed.
Wouldn't it be funny if Daryl was like, I'm never going to be outsmarted again. He makes a ghillie suit out of just squirrel pelts. Like, there's like 73 tails flopping around on him.
It would be so weird.
He's peering out between two squirrel heads, like the mouths are open and there's his eye holes.
If they turn Daryl into like a Doomsday Prepper level insane character at some point.
Sure.
That'd be awesome. People would not like that though. So apparently Daryl told Rick about the people watching him, but that he couldn't track him. Abraham and Rick both want to find a vehicle, and they talk about getting on the road.
Yeah, so there's
Bob and Sasha are playing the good apocalypse, bad apocalypse game.
Okay, before we go to that, there's a little clue to perhaps their location. Abraham says it's about time to start heading north.
Okay.
Is he suggesting that they're far enough east that they need to start heading north to get to D.C.? Surely not.
They can't be near the coast.
They can't have walked like hundreds and hundreds of miles.
Either that montage is way longer than we think. Way longer. Or they're very close to where they started.
Right.
I don't know. Anyway, so Bob and Sasha are playing good apocalypse, bad apocalypse, and they hear someone screaming and run over to help. I wasn't sure what they were doing with this game after the first viewing. And you told me Sasha was saying one good thing or one bad thing about the apocalypse, and Bob was saying, twisting it on its head and saying why that's actually a good thing.
Yeah.
In the apocalypse.
Like insect bites, itching makes you feel like you're alive, and
sun beating down on you, glorious tan, that sort of thing. Anyway, so they run over to a priest who's being attacked by walkers, and the group runs in, kills the walkers, saves the priest who is named Gabriel, and then Rick asks him the now 4 questions, I guess, and agrees to take them. He agrees to take them back to his church.
I love this scene.
It's great. It's great. I love the character that Rick is becoming. I mean, you don't want to see your hero necessarily become an asshole to everyone, but I feel like it's appropriate given Rick's circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, plus this guy, you find a priest in full frock in the middle of the goddamn woods on a rock, and he says he's never killed a walker and he's never killed a person. Fuck all that. I love that thing where he's like, do you have a camp? Because I have a church. And Rick's like, hold your hands, get your hands over your heads. Like, just fuck this. I'm patting you down. I'm asking my 3 questions.
Yeah. The 4th question, what have you done? So Rick is suspicious of this guy from the very beginning.
Sure.
And I like that. Suspicious because he won't eat food that has touched the ground. I would be suspicious about that too.
Well, Rick can't really judge. He won't eat dog food, even if he's starving in a harsh Georgia winter. So people got to have their standards. He understands that.
Yeah, you're right.
Man has to have standards.
Yeah, but it makes a lot of sense that he doesn't trust him. So then Gabriel takes him back to the church while he cracks some really poor taste jokes. And then they reach the church. Rick's group makes sure that it's clear before they go in. They look at all the churchy things that Gabriel's got sitting around, his Jesus photos and all this stuff.
Jesus selfies.
Yeah.
Me the Lamb of hosts.
It's me and Jesus out on the town. Boom. Yeah. Selfie.
Lots of drawings of burning bushes. Yep. Lots of empty cans.
Transcribing the Bible by hand.
Yeah. It's hardcore.
Yeah. He's going pre-Gutenberg here.
Baby Moses looking so happy to be abandoned down the River Nile.
Yeah, so I was looking at those pictures, and on the baby Moses picture, it says 40 years of wandering. Most people probably know what that's about from the Bible.
That's the time lap. 40.
They've been slow-mo walking for 40 years.
That's really slow-mo.
Yeah, it is. And I was thinking about this when you line it up with the scratches on the windows, and you think about like the writing on the church, you'll burn for this. He seemed to maybe know the walker in the water that was coming after him because there's a picture of her.
Yeah.
There's a picture of someone with those glasses.
No, I
assume that's her.
I think they're suggesting that's her, sure.
So
it's not too much of a stretch.
I build this story, this narrative in my head where
that's dangerous.
He has turned people away from the church who may have wanted to, may have been part of the church and wanted to come there for sanctuary, come there for food. It feels to me like he closed up church and said, go away.
Yeah,
and kept all the food and supplies for himself. Those people went out to town, tried to get the supplies from the bank, ended up dead somehow.
Yeah, I'm not I feel like that you're probably on the right track, and I'm not sure how it's all going down or went down. I'm not sure. They suggested that maybe those two had a relationship.
They did, yeah. And they suggested also that Gabriel had some sins that he was not willing to talk about.
Sure.
Some potentially big sins. And they
almost
insinuated
every day. He makes a couple.
Almost.
He gets a couple good streaks going where,
Despite the fact that being alive, I think, is a sin, according to God. So
no impure thoughts. Come on, come on. No goddams even to yourself.
Nope.
No jerking it.
Nope.
I don't buy Gabriel. That's suspicious as shit.
Yeah, so I have this narrative going in my head, and I have no idea if it's right or not, but that's kind of what I built up. Some of the people in this group seem to be disturbed by the churchy things, the selfies with Jesus. Others are pretty impressed, I think. Glenn sees a sign that basically says, be good to everybody. And he is, he's happy to see that. It reminds him maybe a little bit of what's good about Glenn. Glenn's the one who wanted to save the people in the other train car.
Yep.
Glenn's always kind of had a heart of gold. So he reacts differently to someone like Rick, who now does not give a shit.
Yeah, I wonder if that's eventually going to cause a division among the group. Although, again, everybody seemed like they were united in their stonewalling of Gabriel. Like, even Maggie.
Yeah.
Maggie might have had the hardest face of all.
Uh-huh. Yeah, in this next scene, after they clear the church, Abraham's... telling Rick there's a bus that they can fix up, and they decide they need to go get supplies. And everyone on the planet, every single person left alive in this apocalypse comes by Abraham and says, we're with Rick.
Right.
And they're going to do what he does. Yeah. So I think you're right when he sees Abraham as a leader, and he says, I need to pick the right time to convince this guy that everything needs to go to D.C.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything else to say about that, like fixing up the truck or any of that?
The short bus.
Yeah, the bus.
The only appropriate conveyance for a man of Eugene's stature.
Apparently. So Rick questions how Gabriel survived so long. He's sitting down with... or no, he's not sitting down. They're walking back to the food bank, I think. Out to the food bank. He says that there were some cans of food, and he cleaned out places nearby, except this one place that is overrun. I guess they're not walking there yet because they're talking about it.
Yeah.
They decide they're going to go clear that place and get the supplies. And then Tyrese is supposed to stay back and protect Judith along with Carl, who's staying there too.
For Judith.
Yeah, apparently.
Unless murdering an attacker of her. That's the meatloaf. But I won't do that.
Jeez. So Rick thanks him and he tells Gabriel, "You're coming with us. You're coming with us. You've seen me, how I react to walkers, right? No, you're coming with us."
By the way, Father Gabriel is played by Seth Gilliam, who was Carver on The Wire.
Yeah.
A man who went through a lot of personal growth. And I'm just really happy to see more Wire alums landing on The Walking Dead.
And you're going to see less of one Wire alum.
Well,
by the end
depends.
of this episode,
you know, 1/5 less. We can do.
Yeah.
You know, 1/5 of D'Angelo is still pretty good. Need to get Bunk. They're going to find Bunk next. That's let's see.
Yep, and then they'll find McNulty face down drunk in a ditch.
Right. Lieutenant Daniels, when you get him. Can you imagine him?
Uh-huh.
His severe ass walking on, just giving Rick a dressing down.
Then we get Herc. Get Herc in there.
Oh, God. Yeah.
It'll be all good. Anyway, so Rick sits Carl down, and he tells him that he does not trust Gabriel. And as a matter of fact, he doesn't trust anyone, right? Carl does trust Gabriel. He says everyone can't be bad. It seems like Carl is less jaded than his father at this point. Especially when it comes to helping people, because Carl says, you know, yes, we're strong. We're actually strong enough to help people. Shouldn't we do that? And I don't know. Rick has really changed during this apocalypse, and it's super evident.
I thought it was interesting to see Carl do the rhetorical judo on Rick and pivot his argument onto its face, because that's the interesting thing about this phase of The Walking Dead, and you know, they're loosely following the comics, but this is the phase of Rick's group appreciating its strength and starting to think, you know, what can we do with it? What are our options other than running and hiding and fleeing all the time?
Yeah, Gabriel says, I'm horrible around walkers. I can't. Or Eugene's like, I'm not fleet of foot and all that stuff last episode. And they're like, we are. We'll take care of you, man.
Right. We got this.
Yeah, you do your sciencey mullet
overrun
thing.
by over a dozen walkers. We can handle a dozen walkers. Not even with our full group. We can have a detachment of our badasses take care of that.
Yep. It's pretty cool. So then they're walking to town, and Bob tells Rick not to let everything go. He gives this speech about when you push yourself to let things go, then you end up letting go of more and more, and pretty soon you can't get some things back.
Sure.
You can't get some parts of you back. I thought this was a great speech for Bob, the sunny disposition of the apocalypse to be giving Rick, who is kind of the exact opposite of that at this moment.
How do you feel about Bob Angelo's arc here? Like, he was such a dark character and tormented, and it seems like the healing power of Sasha's love has brought him back to the sunny side.
Yeah, and not being a
so he can get his glorious tan.
Not being an alcoholic has probably helped him too. I think.
Oh, there's no cure for being an alcoholic, Jim. He's one communion bottle of wine away from falling off that wagon.
I'm sure. I don't know. He seems very positive and has for a long time now. I don't have a problem with his change in demeanor. I thought it was well portrayed.
Do you think that Rick ever is even open to the idea of the world returning back to the way it was?
No, it's evident in the discussion they have.
Do you think that this is a direct consequence of the prison arc?
Yeah,
like we tried. We tried to get things back.
We let our guard down. We tried to be real people. We tried to be farmers.
Yeah.
Now it's, hunt or be hunted.
Why did Bob open that conversation with the somewhat cryptic statement of, when you said those people don't get to live, you weren't wrong? But then he had a whole bunch of Pollyanna stuff. Was that a warning, like they don't get to live as if they're already dead? Like they're not authentically living?
Yeah.
And that's a consequence of letting too much of your humanity
Or
go.
once this nightmare is over, as he describes it, they're not going to know how to live anymore. You know, they've killed themselves in relation to this potential better world.
So what do you do with a situation like the termites? Like, let's say that Eugene makes it to Washington, he flips the switch, all the zombies dead, order is restored. You come to these how in the world? I feel like the world would have to be civilized. It'd be like the whole world's the wild, wild west with all these little warlords and fiefdoms, and you'd have to conquer them. That's one of the most interesting parts of World War Z, the book.
Yeah.
The fact that once spoiler alert, once the zombies are all taken care of, that there's a few like compounds in Denver and whatnot where warlords have taken over and they're not recognizing the sovereign authority of the United States government.
Sure. Yeah. I don't know. Don't know the answer to that. So Daryl and Carol find a car during their water run, and Carol checks it out and says, "Oh, hey, it will run. We just need to charge it up." She leaves the charger in the trunk in case things go bad in town. Do you think this is an outtake where Daryl's like, "You want me to carry that?" and he drops his water?
I don't know.
It looked like it to me. Like they weren't supposed to be laughing about that, but like it just happened during the moment and they decided to leave it in.
But
Maybe
why?
I'm wrong.
I don't know why he would suggest to carry the water. I don't know. You could be right. There was another.
He has his hands full for one.
Sure.
And he asks if she wants to carry the
There's
water.
another commentator that suggested another scene later on might have been an outtake. But we'll talk about that when we get there.
Okay. So Glenn's scavenging. Maggie and Tara hear a noise inside, and Glenn comes out and admits to falling over a stack of boxes and a mop, and they kind of chuckle at him.
And then step on two separate rakes.
Yep. He did, however, find 3 silencers. So not a bad haul, I'd say.
That is a very nice post-apocalyptic weapon.
Do you think those silencers are going to fit their guns? What is the likelihood of that?
Well, that's an interesting question because most it's not like guns just come with silencer attachments. You usually have to tap and thread it to or get it some sort of adapter. So, but this being The Walking Dead and me personally seeing them walking around with flashlights serving as suppressors, I bet they find a way.
I bet they do. Yeah.
They will not need a machine shop or a gunsmith to pull that off.
Probably not. So he comes out of the thing and he hands her the silencers to Tara. And he's like, there's nothing left in this world that isn't hidden. And I thought, logistically that works. That's cool. Everything's going to be rated except the stuff that the people who weren't so careful about rating didn't find. But you can also see there's a look on Tara's face, which says that she is worried about something.
Do you know what is hidden? The burning love Tara has raging in her heart for Maggie.
For Maggie, yep. The love triangle begins. Is that where you think it's going?
No, honestly, I don't. I thought that on the first viewing.
I did too.
Because I'm like,
yeah.
oh, that's kind of schlocky. And maybe it will.
Maybe it will. Mm-hmm.
And they have kind of laid the bones for that because Tara does seem like she's fairly impetuous in love. Like she rolls into a camp. God, you're a pretty woman. Let's get, I cannot. I'm now going to stay with you rather than my sister and niece and whatever.
Yeah.
So I could see that. However, what I think is going on, if you remember it was a whole year ago. Well, whatever. Last season, Glenn and her talked about whether they should tell Maggie, and it's like, that dude, the silver fox, whose head you cut off.
Yeah.
That was her dad. So maybe keep it on the DL that you were the Udbury way, Roopke, and keep that to yourself. And she's felt like she's starting to like this group. She's starting to like even Maggie.
She likes them way more than she liked the governor's group.
But yet she knows she's got this secret, between them. And every time she catches herself wanting to fall in with this group, it kind of pulls her back. Yeah. I think that's the explanation for those looks, not lust.
I'm with you. That makes a lot more sense, honestly. So the team enters a food bank. They find a hole in the floor where walkers are swimming around in the basement. And they decide they're going to go down and grab all the supplies. They're going to actually go into the basement in the water.
Jesus Christ.
To grab those supplies.
Question.
Glenn wasn't with them, was he?
No.
Is Glenn with him?
Glenn is with him because
Glenn is with him. Why didn't they just lower him down there?
Why risk everyone? Man, what I would love to know what Bob said when he said if something could puke, this is what it would smell like.
Oh yeah, no idea.
So anyway, there's that.
Tell.
But this plan, it just seems terrible because I just feel like you get a couple long sticks, some 2x4s or something, and you either beat them in the head or you wire or duct tape a knife to it and you bayonet them from remote distance.
Yeah.
You drop
we
heavy
saw the
things
bayonet on
them.
Glenn's gun.
Yeah, you get or like I don't know, get a. I could think we could brainstorm in 5 minutes a bunch of different ways. A cinder block with a rope on it.
Yeah,
you just drop it on their head,
pull it back
up next to just
again.
assembly line style. Wile E. Coyote these people.
Yep.
These walkers. This again, it was a cool set piece, and the zombie. I don't even think the zombies are cool. We talked about this in Instant Cast.
I think the zombies are cool. They look slightly off, but
the waterlogged
zombies'
budget looks like they're 1/10 of the other zombies.
No,
and I know that's not true.
It's just harder to make like. What do you think a human body looks like that's been in water?
I don't know. Like I've seen
thing.
on Jaws, like I've seen bloated corpses that looked interesting.
Okay.
I don't know what a corpse that's been in the water for 2 years looks like. My guess is they would have disintegrated by now.
Yeah, seems like it.
But then you wouldn't have the set piece. So
sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I think the walkers were disgusting looking.
They were disgusting, and especially
and awesome
the
in
one,
that way.
especially the one that submerged and got Bob came up and when he like destroyed its head in a slow, meticulous like layer peeling off process. That was something else.
And even the way it comes out of the water, just vomiting water, like this gross, disgusting water all over Bob. Yeah, it was horrifying.
If a waterlogged zombie could puke, that's what it would look like.
Anyways, I don't know why they're so bad with water walkers.
And it's all around a terrible plan because they're putting the shelves loaded with food between them and the zombies. Zombies are raking the food into the water. Yep. They're getting all their infected zombie blood onto the cans and the boxed goods. It just is a shit show all around.
I agree.
And then Rick's suggestion arguably single-handedly led to the attack on Bob. He's
taking
like,
Gabriel down?
No, well, there's that, but I understand if you think he's a threat, you do not want him up there where he
want him with you,
where he could be dropping cinder blocks on you.
Sure.
But him to suggested that pushing the shelf over.
Yeah.
It's like you got zombies you can see and you can fight. Now you got submarine zombies.
Yeah, submarine zombies and all your supplies in the water.
You got Seawolf class zombies coming at your ankles. It's the trash compactor scene from Star Wars. It's not a good look, Rick.
No.
It's not a good look. Think that through for more than 3 seconds, please.
Yeah, it's unfortunate how much that undermines the badassness of this group to me. Like, they don't seem to think about what they're doing before they do it, unless it comes down to just straight up murdering walkers. Like, if walkers are approaching, we're ready to kill them. But in any scenario where we have to think about the logistics of actually taking these guys out, they don't do it. They don't stop to think.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's no one that cares on that level. Like, Nicotero, I feel like, is just thinking of inventive, crazy ways to kill zombies.
Sure. And he's great at it.
And say what you will about the man as a zombie crafter or filmmaker. I just don't think he gives a shit. Like, if you talk to him about plot, he'd be like, what are you talking about? We're making cool zombies.
Yeah. Maybe.
And I don't think Kirkman, honestly, probably, because the zombie action in Walking Dead comic books is just gross, and they're not like a lot of set pieces, and the action isn't particularly well done. It's like, some crazy shots of zombies getting killed, and oh my god, someone's getting bit. But there's not a lot of like thinking through in terms of time and space. And I don't think he cares. So who in the executive staff is committed to, okay, we've got a zombie here, we got a survivor here, we got a room full of random stuff. How would a real human being behave?
Yeah, they I feel like they know their audience, and they know that their audience wants to see spectacular zombie kills.
Yeah.
Wants to see really disgusting looking walkers, and that's all they care about.
And that's the
they
thing.
don't.
I was listening to Bill Simmons' triumphant return to podcasting after being kicked off by ESPN for 3 weeks. And he's a big fan of The Walking Dead, always has been. And him and his cousin Sal were just beside themselves. Like, oh my God, Walking Dead is so good right now. It's so good right now. So, like, I grant you, Walking Dead is getting good.
Yeah.
But the majority of the people, the 18 million people, 99.7% don't give a shit about the fact that these guys jumped into the water.
Yeah.
In fact, they'd be like lame if they were probably, if you imagine like 4 people with poles just poking zombies in the head.
I know. Are they rooting for these people to die? Or just,
partially, yeah. No, they're
just
said
like,
that.
yeah, get in there, kill him. I want to see you kill him.
There's a big population that just wants to see mayhem and then probably could do with less drama.
All right. No, you're probably right about that.
So we might be trying to fight City Hall here, Jim.
We might be. So I don't know. While they're down in this hole, they kill the walkers. Gabriel scrambles around. He attracts this very specific walker with glasses.
The librarian walker.
Yeah. Rick then risks everything to save this guy, pushing all his supplies into the water, like you said. Bob gets attacked by a walker from beneath the water.
Yep.
And then Sasha saves him.
What lies beneath?
Like we said, really good stuff there. Then they go back up to the street, and they're pushing some supply carts along.
Have you seen What Lies Beneath?
No.
Michelle Pfeiffer, Harrison Ford?
No.
Very great waterlogged corpse scene. That's what I think
Undead
of
waterlogged corpse?
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
No. And that
Harrison Ford is in a zombie movie?
In a manner of speaking, that's what I think a waterlogged corpse is, not a plasticky melted face.
Okay, I've never seen it, but I'll have to go check it out. Anyway, Gabriel refuses to tell Rick in this scene if he knew anything about the library walker.
When does Rick just beat the piss out of Gabriel?
Soon. As soon as he realizes that Bob has been taken captive, probably.
I feel like Rick gets... This Rick, in character... He gets back, sees the scratches, see you'll burn for this, and just like, okay, here's the deal. Do you see this? Do you see this python I've got in my hand?
Uh-huh.
I'm going to turn it around, handle first, and I'm going to beat you in the head until you decide to tell me what the hell is your deal. And however many teeth it takes, however many broken eye bones, however many concussions, that's what you're going to go
something.
through.
Gabriel doesn't believe in violence, so he won't believe that the violence is going to happen to him.
Well, it was like, I don't believe in God, but if I went outside and I saw Yahweh written in like 1,000-foot high fiery letters in the clouds, I would become a believer pretty quick.
Okay.
He might not believe in violence, but as Rick's gun is bashing him in the face, I think he would turn into, he'd get religion. He'd get that old-time religion.
You're probably right. Probably right. Anyway, so they're back on the road. Rick asks Michonne if she misses her sword and how she got so good with it, and Michonne says basically practice, but that she wasn't actually living at that point in her life, and now she has people she misses, so that's living.
The great scene with her.
Yeah, fantastic. She had some really good stuff in season 4 as well, and I think they've carried it over nicely.
And these are all things I think that are going into Rick's head, because I think Rick is undergoing a lot of transformation, and he's trying to relate to these people on this one level, and they're like, even people like badasses like Michonne, who's been monosyllabic up until this point, are showing him like, nah, that's not kind of how we roll. That's not how we're thinking about things.
Sure. So they get back, and Rick goes up to Carl, who has spotted some writing on the church wall. Says you'll burn for this, and then he shows him some scratches on the window and stuff like that. He says they're deep scratches like knives or something.
Sure.
So what do you make of this?
I mean, we kind of talked about it. It does seem like there was a reverse Night of the Living Dead where a bunch of people were trying to get in.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just one person, or maybe it's a family that was left.
Sure.
I don't know, because it's hard for me to believe how a man that abhors violence can shut up a church where a determined group wouldn't be able to get in.
Yeah, that's an issue.
I mean, maybe it was just like in the middle of a zombie horde, and
But then if they're in the middle of a zombie horde,
they got
who
the time.
writes "You'll burn" for the? Hold on, I'm almost
No,
done.
I feel like it
Walker.
would be like in Monty Python. It'd be like "You'll boy," you know, it's just
But
got
they
that carved
wrote,
up. But that's good. Very good question. Very good question. Something that
Yeah.
I'm sure we will not get the answer to. So
Probably not. Okay, so everyone feasts on some canned goods. Abraham gives a speech about why they need to go to D.C., and then he implores Eugene to back him up with some facts about D.C., which Eugene is more than happy to do.
sure.
Lays out the Doomsday Prepper story for them. Rick agrees that they need to go there, and everyone follows him, of course. And then Sasha and Bob kiss a couple of times. Bob leaves. And then we get a conversation between Tara and Maggie, which I thought was pretty good here. She admits to Maggie that she was on the governor's side of the prison battle and that she regrets it. And Maggie kind of hugs her and accepts her back into the group.
And Tara's like, whoa, what's this hug bullshit? It's fist bumps with me.
Fist bump or nothing.
Yeah. You keep your hugs to yourself. This is maybe she's germ conscious in the zombie apocalypse.
I've never done this reconciliation with two arms. I don't
It's just like,
get it.
Do I keep my fist balled when I encircle you with my arms?
Am I supposed to bump my own fist behind your back?
Is that what we're doing? Behind the back fist bumps? I don't. Anyway, the previous scene where did you skip past that about Abraham toasting the survivors and all that?
No. It's in there. That's when he's talking with telling Eugene to make the explanation for DC.
One of our listeners, Lisa, mentioned that she thought that Rick ad-libbed that line about Judith. In much the same way that Bryan Cranston famously used the little girl that played Holly saying "Mama," as part of the scene. That when she started, he just went on with that. Because
I could buy that
as
sure.
evidence. She said that it looked like Chad Coleman was like legit cracking up in the background.
Yeah, that's the same thing with Melissa McBride in that water scene.
Yeah.
I thought she was legit laughing too.
So there you go.
So maybe they got a couple of good outtakes.
Walking
that they
Dead's
wanted to
fast
use.
and loose and loosey goosey this year.
Sure. So I like that everyone's kind of like Sasha and Bob are like nodding when they're talking about, Abraham saying save the world for the little one, in reference to Judith. And like two things went through my head. First of all, are they like, yeah, that's the way to get Rick to change his mind. Good job, Abraham. Appeal to his child. Or is it possible that they have a kid on the way? Maybe.
Abraham and Rosita?
No, Sasha and Bob.
Sasha and Bob. No.
No?
No. If you said Maggie and Glenn.
Glenn, yeah, potentially. I don't know.
I also really liked the way they used the kiss between Sasha and
Bob.
Goddamn Bob. The beginning of the episode was like a very fun and flirty and light thing, and like Tyrese is eating it up too. Chad Coleman's back there wearing shitty. He's like shitty and grin full time this episode, and then they inverted that to show us that something was wrong. Before he went outside and like for the slower people to catch up, like, oh, there's something wrong. He's sobbing piteously. I thought that was really good. That this is a man that might be kissing his woman for the last time. I was expecting him possibly just blow his brains out.
Yeah, reveal a bite,
or not
blow his brains
just
out.
Go out to the church courtyard and.
Sure, he's clearly worked up. We'll talk about it in a little bit, but first, Rick goes over to talk to Gabriel, and he thanks him for the wine, and then he warns him that he knows he's hiding something, and if what he's hiding hurts his family, as these people are, in any way, he'll kill him. In no uncertain terms, I'll kill you.
That's right. He says, blood pissing you.
What?
He's going to beat him until he pisses blood.
Oh, all right. Is that a reference to something?
No, for me earlier saying how long before he beats the piss out of Gabriel.
Oh, okay.
I kind of went off on a length about it.
He just re-ups his claim there.
That's right.
Carol's leaving. She's out by the car. She's gassing it up. She's charging it up. Daryl shows up, calls her out, says, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" She's like, "I don't know." But before she has to explain herself, a car speeds by with a cross on it. Daryl busts out the lights on his own car, and they take off after him. Mm-hmm. This is the car, probably, that took Beth. Most likely.
Or affiliated with them.
Yeah.
The white cross, dead giveaway.
Yeah, that white cross was tough to see the first time around.
Mm.
But in this episode, it's much clearer.
Yep.
I feel like that was on purpose.
Yeah,
they didn't
sure.
want us to totally know what's going on there.
Daryl's busting out the taillights, and Carol's like, "What? It's the headlights you need to worry about. What the fuck? No time, Carol. Get in."
Yeah, you could just leave the lights off.
It's on cars that are equipped with that. That's the annoying thing about cars nowadays.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
you try to pull in and be respectful to your neighbors. Like, you know, we live in apartments. I hate pulling in, like, but past midnight and just blasting them with beams right in their windows.
Yeah.
But you can't fucking turn your lights off of these cars nowadays.
These